Hi, friends. Welcome back to the Ohio County Public Library. Today for Story and Activity Today. Our reminder is at the bottom of your screen. We are going outside today. It's pretty out there. I don't think it's all that warm. You might need a sweatshirt, but that's okay. I brought mine. Bring a jacket. I think we will be all right. Maybe if we stay in the sun, it'll be warmer. But anyway, we are going to be at the park today at 2 p.m. Which park? Wheeling Park. Where at Wheeling Park? We will be on the playground at 2 p.m. If you have a suggestion for a book, you are always welcome to comment on this video. And if I can get that book, I will read it today. No one has suggested anything yet, so I'm thinking you're all right with whatever suggestions I make. So, today, with our flower theme, and apparently there was a pig theme that I didn't quite realize I was doing. Our story today is Desert Rose and her highfalutin hog. If you remember, yesterday we read Little Flower, also about a pig. So, this is our story for today, but we're going to go right into our activity. This was a fun one, and a little bit of a change if you saw the schedule. We were supposed to make flowers. I believe today was stamping with celery. And guess who forgot to bring celery? And we don't really have celery laying around the library. So, we're still going to be stamping. However, no celery. Today, we are, no, I'm looking to make sure. Yep, stamping with celery and no celery. So today, we are going to be stamping with stamps that we make out of a paper towel tube or possibly a toilet paper tube, a wrapping paper tube. That would be okay as well. So what am I going to do? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to cut some shapes out of this tube. Now, that means you're going to need a big person at home to help you, and I'm going to need to grab my scissors. So, definitely have someone older. If you are just learning to cut, have someone helping you with this. I am going to try to hold it up here, and we are going to make this one, for example. Why? Because I thought this one was really cool. So you are going to take your paper towel tube. I'm going to hold it up here in front of the camera, and we are just going to make some little slits in our tube. This is a little bit easier when it's down in front of you and you can kind of see better what you're doing, but I think you get the idea. So when we're done with that, we are going to fold those back, and that is going to be our flower petals. The other one I did, I'm going to flip this over and try to show you the other direction. I basically I know it's a little hard to do this backwards and in front of me, but we pretty much just cut flower petals out all the way around. So when you get done, it looks like that. Now, what else do we need besides paper towel tube, scissors? And you're going to be using little scissors, not these big scissors. But this is what Miss Leanne had on her desk. You need a piece of paper. This is just a piece of white paper, almost cardstock. It's a little bit stiffer than a construction paper, but not a super stiff. It doesn't matter. Whatever paper you have at home will be perfectly wonderful. This is just what was laying on the corner of my desk. Right now, I think almost everything I own is laying on my desk. It is a mess. It's so sad. I can't hardly see anything. There's stuff everywhere because summer reading's coming up. We're kind of busy. So, piece of paper, your tube that you're going to cut your patterns with, paint. What kind of paint? I use BioColor. Why do I use BioColor? It doesn't fade. It washes off really well. So I had turquoise and magenta because those sounded like pretty flower colors. And I used a paper plate. So I am going to take my paper plate with my paint, and I am going to smushy, 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 so that all of my petals are pretty well coated in paint. If you see any that aren't, like those two little guys down there that for some reason didn't pick up the paint when I wanted them to, you can dip it back over there. And now it's going to be a little bit harder doing it, holding it up, but we're going to try. We are going to smush, hold it down, and then pull up. It didn't work so well. It happens. Let me put my hand behind it and we'll try again. So smush it down. Because you'll have this flat on a table, you can actually push down on some of those petals if you would like to make sure they touch. And yeah, that's not too bad. So there is our turquoise one. I'm loading up our magenta one. And same thing. This one, I know when I did the sample, I definitely had to press down on the flowers. So I'm going to kind of press from the back of the page. I'm trying not to get glue all over me because I'm going to be touching a book and we don't want paint all over it. And not too much paint. And that's the idea. Now, mine doesn't look so great, does it? Well, let me show you the one I made earlier when I was able to lay it flat on the table and I was able to press on it and ta-da! I got that. I think that's really cute. It was a fun little craft. I did go through with a green marker, a green crayon, green colored pencil, whatever you have. And I drew some stems and some leaves at the bottom. But I think this is really cute. It is not quite dry. So this is definitely a craft that as you do it, depending on how much paint you put on the page, you're probably going to have to let this sit for a little bit before it is completely dry. However, I think this was a fun little craft. About the celery stamping. If you take a bunch of celery and you cut the bottom of it off, it makes a really pretty rose pattern. So you can use the bottom of the celery, dip it in your paint, put it on your paper, celery stamping. If only Miss Leanne had remembered celery. Secret, Miss Leanne doesn't like celery. So I think it's a much better use for celery to paint with it because I'm not eating it. A little tip for today. Little thing you didn't know about Miss Leanne and her dislike of celery. All right, on to our story today. Desert Rose, flower theme, and her highfalutin hog, apparently our secondary pig theme for the week. This one is written by Allison Jackson and illustrated by Keith Graves. As soon as Miss Leanne finds the first page. Out yonder, where the scalding Texas sun meets the Guadalupe Mountains, there once lived a greedy pig farmer by the name of Desert Rose. Desert Rose was fixing to muck out the pig stalls one day when she came upon a solid gold nugget just lying there in the mud. Hot butter beans, Rose exclaimed. I'll mosey on into town with this here gold nugget and buy me the biggest, fattest hog in all of Texas. Then I can win first prize at the state fair in Laredo. When she got to town, Desert Rose did indeed pick out the biggest, fattest hog in all of Texas, and she gladly parted ways with her shiny gold nugget. In her hurry to get to the fair, Rose decided to take a shortcut. She soon came upon a bubbling creek, but her hog would not set one foot in that gurgling water. Desert Rose sat down and thought for a moment. Then she had herself a fine notion. Hog, drink up all the water or I'll miss the state fair in Laredo. Ain't thirsty, huffed the hog, stubborn as a Texas mule, and he plopped himself down on the bank. Well, tickle my tail feathers, cried Desert Rose. You are one highfalutin hog. Rose took a gander round and spied a coyote a-sleeping in the shade. Coyote, nip that hog. Hog won't drink water and I'll miss the state fair in Laredo. Too tired, complained the coyote. Well, bite my boots, cried Desert Rose. You are one cold-hearted coyote. Rose sifted through the sand and spied a snake rattling its way along down a long, slender hole. Snake, wake that coyote. Coyote won't nip hog. Hog won't drink water, and I'll miss the state fair in Laredo. Too hot, snapped the snake. Well, bust my britches, cried Desert Rose. You are one persnickety snake. Rose searched high and low, then spied a cowboy a-riding and a-romping in his neckerchief and spurs. Cowboy, cowboy, spur that snake. Snake won't wake coyote, coyote won't nip hog, hog won't drink water, and I'll miss the state fair in Laredo. Afraid of snakes, countered the cowboy. Well, starch my stirrups, cried Desert Rose. You are one contrary cowboy. Rose studied the cowboy's bronco, a sagging and a sinking under his saddle. Bronco, bronco, buck that cowboy. Cowboy won't spur snake, snake won't wake coyote, coyote won't nip hog, hog won't drink water, and I'll miss the state fair in Laredo. Bad back, bellowed the bronco. Well, chop my chaps, cried Desert Rose. You are one bothersome bronco. Rose scoured the skyline and spied a genuine Texas longhorn steer lying lazy-like in the black-eyed Susans. Longhorn, longhorn, chase that bronco. Bronco won't buck cowboy, cowboy won't spur snake, snake won't wake coyote, coyote won't nip hog, hog won't drink water, and I'll miss the state fair in Laredo. Lame leg, lamented the longhorn. Well, pickle my pistols, cried Desert Rose. You are one lethargic longhorn. Rose surveyed the desert and spied a mangy armadillo moving just as slow as you please through a crusty crop of cacti. This particular armadillo was chock full of nothing but mean armadillo attitude. Well, after all that had passed, what did Desert Rose have to lose? Looking at that armored beast right in the eyes, she said, Mr. Armadillo, sir, I am plumb tuckered out. Won't you please dig under that longhorn? Longhorn won't chase bronco. Bronco won't buck cowboy. Cowboy won't spur snake. Snake won't wake coyote. Coyote won't nip hog. Hog won't drink water. And I'll miss the state fair in Laredo. The armadillo blinked at Desert Rose. What's in it for me? He drawled. Now, Desert Rose hadn't been fixing to give anything to the greedy varmint, but at last she answered, if my hog wins first prize, I'll bring back 200 pounds of ants, beetles, and grubs for you. Cross my heart. The armadillo tipped his narrow head at Rose. I reckon I can dig under that longhorn a spell, he said, and with those words, the armadillo began to dig under the longhorn. The longhorn began to chase the bronco began to buck the cowboy began to spur the snake began to wake the coyote began to nip the hog, and the hog drank up all the water in that bubbling creek. Hoo-wee, whooped Desert Rose. You are one thirsty hog. Then the whole lot of them set off with Desert Rose leading the pack, and they made it to the state fair in Laredo with only minutes to spare. Sure enough, that highfalutin hog won first prize at the fair, and true to her promise, Rose hauled back a Texas-eyed helping of ants, beetles, and grubs, 200 pounds of them. But every year, when it comes time to take her prize-winning hog to the state fair in Laredo, Rose always takes the long road out of town, just in case. The end. So that was Desert Rose and the Highfalutin hog. I hope you enjoyed our story for today. I also hope that you can join us over at Wheeling Park this afternoon at 2 p.m. for story time at the park. Remember, if you have a book suggestion, put it in the comments on this video. I hope to see you all very, very soon. Bye, my